Welcome back. I am going to take you on a little tour of my seedlings today. I am officially 40 days out from my last frost date. So what we have going is a bit of succession planting, and also some things have done better than others. I'm in a new house, a new grow zone, a lot of new things going on. So I'm sort of seeing how things do here, both in my house and also bigger picture on my property. So some things are a bit of an experiment. You'll notice I'm growing a very wide variety of things and an interesting number of things, just to see kind of what does best, what produces well, and hopefully to get a nice crop of things that I would consider staples for myself. So let's hop into it. I've got, although this has two small lids, it's basically equivalent to one large one. So there's these three large ones. There's another large one on a different counter. And then there's also one that's actually this size on another counter. So that's kind of what I have going. I'm also starting a couple of sweet potatoes to get slips. And there are some things that are outside as well. And I'll take you out there afterwards. So we'll just start with this bed. Right, so my ground cherries here have not popped up yet. In this little section, I've got 3 garbanzo bean plants. I also have 2 other larger garbanzo bean plants that started a little before this. Over here we've got, oh, my little lemon cucumber is broken. Lemon cucumbers, green beans. I tried to start some snapdragons from seeds. I've never tried that before and not working. But I have quite a few snapdragons outside already. Here we have cilantro, and you can see it's getting some true leaves there, and it already smells like cilantro also. We've got some purple moon cauliflower, which is going to be purple. The heads will be purple. My Thai broccoli is also not coming up, and that's the second time I've tried starting that, so I think it may actually be a seed issue. Over here I have an entire collection of tomatillos. I haven't grown tomatillos before, but I really love them, so I'm quite excited to see how these produce in my grow zone. Back here I've got quinoa growing, and this is organic quinoa that I sprouted from store-bought organic quinoa. And I do have one later on that's a bit older than these, and I will probably keep sprouting more of them as well. I'm pretty interested in having a lot of quinoa. I eat it quite a lot. So having a bunch for storage would be really great. These big beauties are tromboncino squash. If you haven't seen a tromboncino squash before, I highly recommend that you look it up. They are gigantic. They're kind of bulbous on the end, and they're very, very long necked, and they are really huge. Here I have okra coming up. There's 2 here, and I do have a larger one that I started a bit earlier. This is chamomile, and I'm growing a bunch of it because I like to harvest it for tea. So the more flowers I can get, the better. I'll dry those and store them for the whole year. This is an indigo rose tomato. Those tomatoes are going to be purple. And then back here, this whole one is echinacea. And as you can see, some of them are growing more quickly than others, but they all seem to be doing fairly well. So I'll be up potting these fairly soon. Hopefully they'll take off at that point. I did just do some up potting not long ago, and these tromboncino squash were tiny, like smaller than this smallest one, and they're already this giant. So same with the cauliflower. Those will need to be potted up soon. So we'll get these guys tucked back in. So these are a couple of trays that I just started. So they are not popped up yet. Can we take you off here? So what we have here are English cucumbers, oregano. We've got purple beauty peppers. So those are just sweet peppers, just like bell peppers, but they're purple. Dill, cilantro, and cumin. I did end up doing more cilantro because that round of cilantro that we just saw is the only other round of cilantro I have. And I like a lot of cilantro, so I'll probably keep succession planting those and keep starting them fairly regularly. Back here I've got some nasturtiums, which I've never grown them before, but they're supposed to be a really great companion plant for pests. So they're also really pretty. The color combination that I got I really like. So I'm just interested in seeing what they look like in the garden. I've got neon calendula and Pacific beauty calendula, which I'm gonna do a lot of infusing with those. They're also just really pretty and they're good for pollinators. French marigolds are also good for pests. I'm gonna see how they come up in here. I'm also going to direct sow some of those. I've got 6 more containers of Thai broccoli. Those are still new, so I have hope that they will work. But again, if they don't, I'm gonna have to get some new broccoli seeds because I think the seeds are the problem, I think, if these don't sprout at this point. Brussels sprouts here. Then I've got bumblebee tomatoes, which are like a red and purple cherry sized tomato. Scotia tomatoes, and a whole flat of lemon basil back there. I really like basil. I'm gonna put it into a lot of things when I can. So I wanted to have a lot of that available. So we are going to scoot on over to planter number 3. So the things in here are the first round of things that I started. So they've all been potted up already. These are all huckleberries. I'm just waiting for that last frost to go ahead and put those outside. I may actually, they've been potted up, but I might pot them up one more time. Because there's a few in each one. So they probably need to be split too. Apple mint here. I've got more older purple moon cauliflower, although those younger ones I feel like have really caught up. And these 2 are tricolor cherry tomatoes. These are loofahs. I've grown those before. They do tend to work well in the area I used to live in, which isn't too far from here, so I'm hoping they do well here too. These are all Jimmy Nardello peppers. I've never had them before, but I've heard that they're really good, and so I'm interested in trying them. They're a sweet pepper, but they kind of look like a spicy pepper, but they're actually sweet. I've got artichokes lastly over here, which are really starting to take off now. One of my loofahs is with my artichokes, but that's a loofah also. All right, and then over on this side, these are the other half of the things that were planted at the very beginning. So these are all chocolate bell peppers, this whole row. And again, they're sweet peppers. They're just a different color. And those darker colors are supposed to have a higher level of nutrition. I also just really like things that are like on the purple scale. So a lot of things in my garden are going to be purple, just for fun. This is my bigger quinoa. So as you can see, it's a bit leggy, but it's going, so I have hope. These are my larger garbanzo beans. They're losing their sprouting leaves, and all their true leaves are coming in now, so those are going to take off. This one is okra, which looks a lot like the garbanzo bean, but it's not. I've got 2 pots of sage. I've got 2 tiny eggplants. I went ahead and potted those up now just because there were 2 of them together and I wanted them to have a bit more space. And then I also have a tiny baby eggplant there. I potted that up because it was in like one of the micro containers and the rest of the micro container was empty. So I just put that one little cell into its own little pot. These 4 are all San Marzano tomatoes, which I'm really excited about. Hoping to get many of those, enough to make lots and lots of sauce and also be able to share them. The other thing I have going over here are an orange sweet potato and a Japanese sweet potato. And just this week I started getting my first little sprouts on this sweet potato, so I'm really looking forward to all the slips taking off over the next 40 to 50 days so that I can plant a bunch of sweet potatoes. Really looking forward to that. And my last little bed here has golden beetroot and Danvers short carrots. They're supposed to be better for container gardening. They're not going in a container, but They're like half size carrots, but they're bigger around. So just seeing how that goes. There's kind of some debate about whether to start these inside or not. So I am starting these inside just in this little tray, but I have a bunch that I'm going to direct sow also. So I'm just going to see what does better. I find when you kind of have the option, it's better to put out bigger plants outside. However, I also find sometimes that when you do that, the ones that you've grown inside start bigger and the ones that you direct sow catch up. So anyway, I'm just interested to see kind of what happens. So we'll see how that goes. So this is the outside garden. Once the camper is gone, this will actually be another raised bed, and then there'll be some more over on that other side as well. But I just wanted to go through kind of what I have for now. Most of these potted flowers are all those bulbs back there. These along here, they're all bulbs and plants that I had from previous homes. So I'm working on, those are blueberries, but I'm not sure if they're going to come back. So I'm seeing how those do. Some of them actually look like they're going to get leaves soon, so I'm hoping that at least some of them will come back and I can plant them here. I was renting before, so I knew that I wasn't going to be putting them in the ground, but they have fruited before and been great. So potentially I have five blueberries and 3 raspberries, I think. I don't think the raspberries are going to come back though. Just my, that's what I would bet on. And then these are all irises and lilies. Same thing here, irises and lilies and all these. This is a lilac, it's new. That rhubarb is new. That mullein is actually wild. It grows all over the place here, but this was growing on a piece of machinery that was going to be moved. So I took it off the machinery and put it in a pot. I've actually taken off a lot of the big leaves that were on it and dried those and put them in a jar to use later. So I'm going to keep picking leaves off, and then next year it should go to seed. And once it goes to seed, I'll probably put it back in the wild somewhere, so that it can keep producing with its seed. There's a bunch of mullein over there as well. Someday I'll do a foraging video just on the property and I can go through kind of the things that grow here. Okay, so hyacinths are new. I just really like them because they smell nice. And then these snapdragons are new as well. That was a hosta, probably not coming back. The slugs got that. Jasmine, I'm hoping is coming back, but it's not looking good, friends. Narcissus are new. I've got 2 different types over there, mostly just because they smell good. This is berry row in my little berry picking path. So we've got elderberry, we've got Saskatoon or serviceberry, especially if you're a Robin Wall Kimmerer fan. And then we've got champagne currant, red currant, and 2 different types of blueberries. I think these are supposed to fruit this year, but I mean, they will or they won't. Either way, they'll keep growing. So that's row number 1 of berries. And then my little solar lights are really cute at night. They make me very happy. This is row number 2 of berries, and along here there are 10 raspberry canes, and those are all new. Some of them are starting to get leaves, hoping they do well. Back there I have snow peas going up. That trellis is made from the inside of a box spring. It's been scrubbed and attached to the raised bed. The logs for all of these beds are just from the property, especially back there. There's a lot of fallen stuff. And then, hey, get out of the garden. Out. Okay, so big garden bed also has a little rhubarb in the corner. I'll do a different video that goes through the garden plan probably next month when I start planting things out. I'll give you a tour once this is actually planted. If you don't have $200 and whatever for green stock, this is a really good alternative. These are from the dollar store. I don't use a lot of plastic. I try not to. But these are really great for vertical growing space, especially this first year when I don't have a lot of beds established. So I did decide to get these this year. The one on the end is all strawberries. This one in the middle is all different greens. So there's a couple different types of lettuce, different types of kales and spinach. And then this one, the bottoms are onions. And then there's herbs in the rest. And I started these herbs early because I read somewhere that you can start them early in this grow zone, but I live on a mountain, and so I'm kind of in a microclimate, and I don't think that that is going to work. But I've also started a lot of those herbs inside as well. So I will be checking and seeing how they do here. When it starts to warm up more consistently, if they sprout out, that's great. I can put the other ones that I have right in this bed. So this bed is lined with horse manure, and then it also has mushroom compost over top. It has been raining quite a bit, and as you can see, it's already started shrinking. So eventually I will top that off. And by eventually, I mean next month. And then I don't have a lot going on in the greenhouse right now. I just have those 3 little pots that are actually peach pits. They're organic, locally grown. I'm just seeing if they'll sprout. They need to be cold before they'll sprout. So I've got them out here, keeping them damp, hoping for the best. And then I've got all my kale sprouts in there. They're all hardened off, but they are staying in the greenhouse for now. Still a bit too chilly just to put them right in the ground. So, although I will say that was one of the ones that was an experiment. And these little kales are coming up already. And that is a dwarf blue curled kale. So I guess technically it's not too cold for kale. Oh, and look. There's actually a couple little, that is a little sprout, and that's a little sprout of lacinato kale. So I think maybe it is warm enough now for the kale, because I mean it's popping up just from being planted outside even. It wasn't hardened off or anything. So the other thing I have on the house are these little hanging baskets, and those are all hyacinths as well. I was reading that herbs are good to grow with hyacinth, so once it gets to be a bit warmer, I'll probably pop some herbs in those baskets.